Hello Wargamers, it's me Callum from TableTopBanter, and today we have my first ever X-Wing Tactics Side Battle Report. So what I'm going to start by doing is going over, I'm sure everyone's favourite Star Wars character from A New Hope, other than Han Solo, because he is obviously a badass, and that is Mr. Luke Skywalker. So I thought I'd start with what I've got in the box, looking at the different character models and the upgrades you can give them, and just, talking about how I would play them and how I think they'll work. So I'm obviously not talking to you about these things from a solely this is going to win you a game standpoint, but if you like Luke Skywalker and you want to play him, then I want to look into the ways you can play him straight out the box, and then I will revisit these tactics once I've picked up more cards and such, so we can really have a good look at him with all the cards on the table. So first of all, let's just move this back a little. I mean, it's there for the looks, but this is the card you get with the, whoops, caught it, with the starter box, and it is the Luke Skywalker card here. So you can see Pilot Skill 8. These are the number of dice you roll on attack. So 3 attack, 2 agility, 3 hull points, and 2 shields. Now these are the actions you can perform here: target lock and focus. And he has a special rule, as the characters do in this game, which is when defending, you may change one of your focus results to an evade result. So this, to me, says that Luke Skywalker is a defensive pilot. And the other thing that gave that away was the upgrade cards that you get in the starter set. So, bearing that in mind, we know he's Pilot Skill 8, so he's going to be shooting pretty early on. So you'd hope that he would maybe down a ship or damage a ship in his turn, and then you can be quite aggressive with him because he is fairly defensive. These are my thoughts anyway. He gets this possibility. I mean, his special rule is pretty good. It's not an action; it's just his special ability, if you like. And he can take the upgrade cards here, so you can see he can take torpedoes, proton torpedoes or something. He can take special rules for a model, so you can give them things. I think one of them's called not that I have the card, but there's things like veteran instincts, etc., or determination. And finally, he can take an astromech droid. So that's what we're going to look at next. We're going to take this deck and split it into the 2 different things. First of all, the 2 droids that you get in the box. And second of all, the 3 pilot upgrades, pilot skills. So the 2 droids. Let's start with R2, F2. So you can choose this card as your droid, and you can perform an action. So in the action part of the phase, you can increase your agility value by 1 until the end of this game round. Now again, like I said, that would make him agility 3. He's already got a defensive ability where he gets to change a focus result to an evade. So what you're doing here is you're just kind of increasing the probability of getting a focus or evade result. So a very defensive upgrade for a rather defensive pilot. This costs 3 points. Now I'm not fully familiar with what points can get you an X-Wing just yet, so that would take you a total of 31 points. Because Luke is stock 28. Now I know a lot of people play 100 or 50 point games, so 31's quite a sink in that kind of scenario, and you haven't fully upgraded him yet. But yeah, you can increase agility. Now, the only game I played him with R2-D2 because, I like that kind of combination for fluff purposes or whatever. But if you gave him R2-F2, it wouldn't be a bad choice. Now, R2-D2's special ability is after executing a green maneuver, you may recover 1 shield up to your shield value. Now the reason this is good is because he has 2 shields. So you can effectively be replenishing that every other turn. So what I was doing in the game I played was doing a K turn, which stresses my pilot out and means he can't perform an action. And then because I'm on the other side of my opponent, I only want to make a green maneuver anyway, regain a shield, and then I can do an action, whereas I've already got this kind of defensive safety point after the K turn, because I can already change an agility roll of the focus dice to an evade, so he's survivable. This makes him slightly more survivable, and I can still take actions on target lock and such. Now that will come into effect later on when we talk about torpedoes, but I prefer R2-D2 to R2-F2, but either one seems viable to me in terms of the fact that he is a defensive pilot, in my opinion. So once we've put astromech droids to one side and selected one of those, or not, obviously, I'm pretty sure you don't have to, but you can. Let's have a look at these pilot upgrades. So, when you are dealt a face-up damage card with the pilot trait, discard it immediately without resolving its effect. Yeah, I guess it's a good idea. With the 3 hull points, it seems to make more sense to this ship over a TIE fighter, because it doesn't have those shields either. So I can see it being taken for 1 point as well. It's not a massive sink. Will it come into play every game though? I guess you don't know. Obviously that only affects critical hits. Maybe, we'll see. Then we also have marksmanship. Now this one I think is quite good from what I remember reading. So when attacking this round, this is an action of course, you may change one of your focus dice to a crit result and all of the other focus dice to a hit result. So it's basically for 3 points you can change one focus die to a critical hit. Now that is great. I think that is a good action to have. It's basically focus plus. Now obviously you get focus for free, and the beauty of Luke Skywalker is you can use your focus offensively every single time, because you get to change one of the 2 dice anyway. I mean, if you've got R2, F2, oh that's an action, sorry. So you do get that kind of, this is making him slightly more offensive, but he's still got his defensive capability with his special ability. The last upgrade you can give him are proton torpedoes. Now for this you need to use the action of a target lock, and you get to, this is a secondary weapon, ranges 2 to 3 for attacks. And you may also change one of your focus results to a crit result. So again, proton torpedoes seem like a pretty good upgrade. An extra dice with attack, you can change one of the focus to a crit because this requires the target lock action. So you don't get to re-roll, but I mean, there are probably other ways you could do it. I can see myself taking this in game, sure, why not? It's kind of fun. So yeah, that's just a little look, I guess, at Luke Skywalker as a pilot. I think what I would say is he's pretty defensive. You know, he's slightly more survivable than the other X-Wings when they do get shot at. With the extra agility buffs you can give him and the shield bits with R2-D2. Now, I'm not saying this is the best combination, or these could be the best combinations, but what I will say is I can see people using these, and as a starting place there's no better place to start than the starter box, obviously, and from that box these combinations are good. These are the kind of combinations I would think about using, with your, I mean I would take R2-D2, proton torpedoes and marksmanship, because R2-D2 doesn't require an action. You can use the marksmanship when you're at range 1, and when you're at range 2 and 3 you've got your proton torpedoes. Now that does make him pretty hefty points wise, but yeah, what can you do? It's not so bad. If I was going to drop one upgrade, it might be marksmanship and just try and stay further away. But basically that's all I have to say on Luke Skywalker. So, one of our favourite sons, I'm sure if you're a Rebel fan. I for one really like the X-Wing as a design. I think it's very, very cool, and the fact that I now get to play it as a tabletop game is fantastic. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. How would you make this loadout from the cards I have shown you? How would you kit Skywalker out with the cards I've shown? That's what I really want to know, because I haven't bought any upgrade cards. I haven't got any plans to in the immediate future, although I will be hopefully around Easter. So lots of exciting things to come. And don't forget to check in the description below. There are 2 links. The first link is to the TableTopBanter blog, in which Harry is writing up plenty of stuff, lots of interesting things to come on that. And the second link is the one to the Legion of Gamza Facebook page. Lots of great content from a lot of great guys. So make sure to go and check them out as well. For now, it's been me, Callum from TabletopBanter. Don't forget,